John C. Maxwell once said, "You'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret to your success is found in your daily routine." And wealth is no different. You see, building wealth has nothing to do with coming from a rich family or hitting the jackpot at a casino. Wealth is built by small, consistent habits that over time have a big impact. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 commonly overlooked habits that have been quietly building my wealth. And be sure to stick around to hear the bonus habit because it'll tie all of the rest of these habits together. So let's get started. Habit number 1, automate your savings. So we all know that saving money is something that we should be doing, but we usually leave it to the end of the month because it just feels like such a chore, or we intend to save, but an unexpected expense comes up and we don't have any money left to save. So what I started to do was automate my savings. Automating my savings has been one of the easiest and the most game-changing habit that I've started because now I don't have to think about saving anymore. It's effortless. I just set up an automatic transfer from my checking account to my savings account every single month, and voila, I set it and forget it. And it's like a silent wealth builder working in the background, building my wealth. And if you have a 401k through your employer, that is automated savings. So you have your retirement wealth growing in the background without you having to even lift a finger. But here's the best part. Once you automate your savings, your wealth starts to grow so much faster because it's consistent and you've taken the need for you to go into the account and set up the transfer manually and remember to do it. You've gotten that out of the way. And so you're saving consistently and you're building your wealth without even thinking about it. Speaking of effortless savings, let's talk about where to put that money in habit number 2, saving in a high-yield savings account. Most people don't realize that their savings accounts in traditional banks are actually losing them money. And why is that? Because of inflation. So you see, savings accounts actually pay you a little bit of interest for keeping your money in there. And if that interest rate isn't equal to or more than the current inflation rate, then you're losing money. That is why I love high yield savings accounts, and it's in the name, high yield. You're going to get a much higher interest rate than a traditional bank will offer you. And the reason they're able to do that is because most of these banks are online. They don't have the brick and mortar buildings or all the other overhead that traditional banks have. So they can offer you a much higher APY than a traditional bank. So let me show you the magic of a high yield savings account. A traditional savings account typically offers an APY of 0.01%, but a high yield savings account offers an APY of 3% and even up to 5%. So let's say you have $1,000 and it's in a traditional savings account versus a high yield savings account. In a year, if that traditional savings account is making 0.01%, you're going to have a lovely 10 cents. But in a year, with the high yield savings account making even just 3%, you're going to have $30. Like, that is a huge difference. And the amazing thing about it is you didn't go work for that extra $30. You just switched accounts and now you have more money. So when I learned this, I switched all of my savings to a high yield savings account. And now my savings is with Ally Bank. So if you have an emergency fund or any other savings sitting in a traditional bank, I would highly recommend switching them to a high yield savings account and make more money effortlessly. Habit number 3, I pay myself first. Paying yourself first is a big mindset shift. And when I learned about it, it completely changed how I viewed money because I had to go from a consumer mindset to a creator mindset. The consumer mindset says everybody else gets their money first. The bills get their money first, debt gets their money first, Amazon, Victoria's Secrets, Coach, whoever else, they get their money first and we are last. But a creator mindset says, no, I am building my wealth before anything else. So when I started paying myself first, I saw my wealth explode. So now, before any bills or debt or even fun, I set aside a portion of my income to be saved, whether that's my retirement savings, that's my emergency fund, or any other sinking funds. And it's not just about the goal of building wealth. It's about prioritizing your future self. And so it requires a mentality shift where you say, no, my financial future comes first. So paying yourself first goes right along with the habit of automating your savings. You just make sure that you pay yourself before you pay anyone else. So let me know in the comments if you already pay yourself first or if this is a habit that you would like to start. Habit number 4, I set aside specific times where I don't spend money. Do you feel like every time you leave the house you end up spending $187? It's like all I wanted to do was go to Target for this one thing, but then I remember I gotta go to CVS and pick something up, or I gotta go to the gas station, and I've been out for a while and I'm hungry, so maybe I should go get some lunch, and by the time I get home, I've spent so much money. That is where no spend days come in. So I plan specific times where I don't spend money, whether that be one day a week I decide I'm not going to spend money, or even take a whole week where I decide that I'm not going to spend any money that entire week. Some people even do it for months or even a year. And the idea is simple. You just choose a specific time, like a day or a week or a month, where you do not spend any money except on essential things. Like if you have bills, obviously you got to pay those, or food. I'm not saying don't buy food, but I'm talking about, you know what I mean, that extra stuff. It's those trips to Target, it's the Amazon purchases, and it is the eating out. Not only does this stop unnecessary spending, it also forces you to get creative with what you already have. So you know you have food at home, go ahead and get your Gordon Ramsay on and whip something up. I personally love doing no spend days or weeks because it brings awareness to how casually I spend. A no spend day is kind of like hitting the pause button on my spending, and I'm forced to ask myself, okay, do I really need this or do I just want it? And this habit has been a huge money saver for me, but this next habit has been a game changer. Habit number 5, I track my spending. I cannot stress this enough. This habit is huge. Tracking your spending is one of the most eye-opening habits you can develop. So really quick story. Back in 2016, I found Dave Ramsey and I realized that I knew nothing about how to manage my money and I was doing everything wrong. And so I found a financial coach. And the first thing that my financial coach told me to do was track my spending. And so with my food budget, I would have said maybe I was spending $300 a month, maybe $400. But once I tracked my spending for just 30 days, I saw that I was spending over $900 a month on food. That's eating out and that's groceries. That is insane. So that is what I mean by tracking your spending is so eye-opening. See, when you ignore your spending habits, it is so easy to overspend and get into debt because what you don't see, you can't fix. But once I saw everything clearly in black and white, I couldn't ignore it anymore and I couldn't live in denial. So I had to do something about it. And once I started tracking my spending, I felt so much more peace about my finances because I knew all my numbers. I knew how much money I was bringing in and how much money was going out, and I could make clear financial goals that were realistic for me. So to start tracking your spending, you don't have to do anything fancy. What I started with was a pen and a piece of paper, and I literally just wrote down every single time I spent money, whether that's with cash or a credit card or a debit card, and I did it daily. You could do it weekly or monthly if you would like to, but you need to get a clear picture of where your money is going, and tracking your spending will help you do that. Now, I've gotten a little bit more fancy and I don't use pen and paper anymore. I do have an Excel spreadsheet that I use to track my expenses, but there also are budgeting apps that will track your expenses for you, such as Every Dollar or Mint Mobile. But also, if you go to your bank account, your bank statement is basically tracking every expense. So that's what your bank statement is. So you could just print out the last 3 months of your bank statements and see where all of your money is going. And as promised, here is the bonus habit that helps me stay mindful with my money. Every month, I do a My Choice Life check-in. So basically what I do is I go over my budget and I look at how much money I brought in and how much money I spent and where exactly I spent that money, and did that spending align with my financial goals or with my choice life. So in this check-in, we're able to spot patterns of overspending, but we're also able to celebrate wins when we maybe save more than we thought we could. And this is something that just takes 10 to 15 minutes where we just sit down and reflect on the last month's spending and how we are working towards our goals. Because it is very easy to go on autopilot and miss the bigger picture of why you're doing this. Like, why are you saving money? Why are you budgeting? Why are you cutting expenses? It has to have a bigger purpose. And my family's purpose is financial independence. So hopefully hearing about my financial habits has sparked some interest in you and has got you thinking about incorporating it into your financial journey. So I hope this video was helpful for you. And if it was, let me know in the comments down below. I love reading your comments. And would you please give me a like on this video and subscribe for more. Bye for now.